Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for your comments. I just wanted to give you a quick response video. Sorry, I've been sick, as I said in my last video, so I haven't recorded for a while. And now the holidays are coming up, so I just wanted to put out something before I start traveling, and I'm not here to record some stuff for you. So we got some great comments. So let me just address them one by one. First of all, Javier Perez, he asks, so singing without looking forward tone is nonsense. I had to ask him what he meant by that. And he said he was talking about intention of getting light, bright, and forward, to which I say, absolutely, that is a good idea. It is not nonsense. And I responded to you, Javier, so thank you for that. But I actually have a whole video devoted to keeping it light, bright, and forward. You can boil down technique basically to three basic fundamentals. You've got placement of voice, which is what I call messa di voce, which is a high placement. So keeping it high and bright is 1/3 of the cornerstone of technique. The other one is keeping a low larynx, which is attached really to your body, to your support. And those are they work in conjunction, but that's 2 and 3. So you've got resonance, like a high, bright placement, messa di voce, placement of the voice. You've got space in the throat, open throat, low larynx. So you've got those two things working in opposition, and then you have connection to the body, which is support. So resonance, space, support. That's it. Those are like the three fundamentals, and you need all three, and you have to kind of work on them separately and together. Integrating that is kind of what technique is all about. So moving right along, now we have a comment from Bazabe7360, who says, thanks, man. Understood. Tried it once again. One drawback is exercises you demonstrate are too short. Yeah, sorry, man. I'll do like a whole video on exercises and things that I do personally. It honestly really doesn't matter, and I know this is like kind of controversial, but it really doesn't matter. What matters is your approach to them and the fundamentals behind how you apply your technique to the exercises and to everything you sing. You don't learn that in exercises. Exercises just train muscles, they train habits, and it's really good for that. But you can easily train the wrong habits very easily. So you really need to establish a good technique first before you really delve into exercises. But it's okay, I'm here. We'll talk about all those things. And then we've got a great question here from Nicholas Vasilopoulos. Are you Greek? That's a great name. If you have any experience in choir singing, which in fact I do, can you demonstrate how to sing correctly but not louder, such that you can blend with other singers, is I think what you're saying here, while simultaneously hearing and watching the maestro, of course. Yeah, I mean, in choral singing, the big thing is blending, right? So you do have to really keep an eye out for your colleagues in your section to make sure that you're not sticking out. I always recommend using good technique. And Nicholas, I think I responded to you in my comment. But to blend, you have to learn how to create what you would call, I guess, a covered sound, a cupo sound. You might have heard that before. It tends to happen that in a choral setting, singing very forward or very bright tends to stick out. And that can be okay in certain circumstances. I work at the SF Opera and I sing in the chorus there. So for opera singing, it's a little bit different than in choral, strictly choral singing, where sound is paramount. In opera, you're a bit more of a character. You're on stage, you're part of, a dramatic setting. So it's a little bit different in terms of the kind of sound you can make. But good technique is always important. And what I find, and I have many years of experience singing in a professional chorus, what I find is it's very easy to, first of all, you can't hear yourself very well. So it's easy to push, it's easy to over sing and not even realize it because, you've got so many voices around you, you feel like you need to compete. So that's one. So don't try to compete for sound. Just sing within yourself, sing comfortably. If you ever feel yourself getting tired, back off, because you can easily overdo it. You can hurt yourself that way. The big thing in terms of making a blendable sound is singing in that kind of spacious place. So again, within yourself. Yeah, you're not trying to get way out there and project your sound or anything like that. You're not worried about that. You're worried about the group and the quality of the sound amongst all of your colleagues. And obviously looking at the maestro is always a thing. You never not look at the maestro. I mean, you have to look at your music, of course, but you always have to kind of keep the maestro in your periphery. So as you're looking at your music, make sure that it's lifted enough so that the maestro is visible to you in your peripheral vision. Yeah, maybe you're not looking directly at them all the time, but they should make, gestures that should catch your attention if they ever need to get your attention. If they know what they're doing, they'll make a big gesture for you if they need to get the attention of the group. I don't know what kind of group you're singing in, but that's not a hard skill to acquire. So I hope that answers your question. And then finally, we have a question here from Craig2380 who asks, any chance you could give some pointers on starting to get that classical sound, the elusive, full sounding Tom Jones type sound? I love that question. I love that you that you threw in Tom Jones, because he's obviously not an opera singer. So we're talking about kind of two different things. First of all, I worship Tom Jones. He is a fantastic singer. And while not being an opera singer, he actually does sing with some really good fundamentals. So it's a little bit kind of two different things. To get the full operatic sound, you really need to do those three fundamental things that I talked about: resonance, space, and connection to the body. You need to get all those three things dialed in to the extreme to really produce effective operatic sound. So you can do exercises for all three different things. So first of all, you can warm up your nasal resonance, or you can start working on exercises to lift that soft palate. So I like to do hums. You can do it in an M, or my favorite, actually, that's really good. That's a great way to start. And then when you want to start dialing in, kind of getting access to the high place in the voice to get that really pingy, bright sound, you can do NG, like sing, this, where back of tongue is touching your soft palate, and you hear what a bright, like pingy sound that makes. In opera, we call that squillo, which I think means scream or cry or something like that. Anyway, and you can do scales. And as an exercise, one really good exercise to get that opened up into your full voice sound is go all the way up. And the trick is to open it up on the top very, very slowly, especially if you're not really trained in this idea, because a lot of singers will go, and they'll just open it up too quickly and the sound goes straight out the mouth. What the idea here is that you're dialing in muscles of the soft palate, and you're getting a high tongue position. The high tongue position is important because that kind of helps you achieve that higher placement in the voice. This is actually extremely important, and a lot of singers miss this, even professional singers. So what I recommend is on your exercises, scale exercises, da 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 da, whatever, arpeggio exercises, it doesn't matter. When you get to the top, you open it up very slowly, and that gets you used to this idea to, your actual open singing. You can do this exercise, very slowly, opening it up at the top. The top, it's more important at the top because that's really where the voice starts to kind of access that place in your physiology. And then the other thing is the low larynx, as I talked about in another video. And that is really, it's kind of natural. When you take your breath, when you breathe for singing, you hear how it changes the voice, right? It doesn't actually have to be a quick breath, but it's like that idea of yawn where you, like this, right? Or as one of my commenters said, you say the caw, C-A-W, on an inhale. And that you see my Adam's apple drop, and everything lifts and drops simultaneously. But then how do you maintain that for singing? And that's the big trick, yeah? So you need that space. You need that depth, that opening, and then you maintain that through connection in the body. And that's tricky. So we can probably work those two at the same time. And the exercise for that is a little bit like, actually, there are probably two things you could do. One is called kurglot. It was the idea of Garcia. He wrote a whole treatise called the Treatise of Garcia, or Garcia's Treatise, about the singing voice, where you use a bleat kind of sound like a lamb. Can you hear that? And so that's a way of kind of lightening up the voice a little bit, but it's also a way of training connection. You hear how those two things are related. So that gets you on the body, that gets you supporting the voice. Yeah. And it's something, it's so hard to explain. And this is kind of individual. I think people feel this in different ways. I'm kind of long and slender. So I really I have to work hard for it. And I think people who are a little bit bigger, who have a bigger frame, more heavy set, for them, it's like they don't even have to think about it. They're grounded, they're open. They're like, whatever, man, I don't have to think about my support. It's just there, but it's the same thing is happening. It's like maybe some bodies are kind of a little bit more set up for it. So in any case, for most people, for me, you have to work on that. So it's this idea of laughing, crying. It's this deep sort of gut feeling. And so those two things, I mean, you could just work on connection and bright, and that'll get you that full, crazy powerful sound. But it's, it takes a lot of practice. And so what guys like Tom Jones do extremely well is he sings with a lot of heart. It's like, it's this like weighty kind of like soulful sound because he's singing with his body, but it's also really bright and very free. And so he's got this great placement, the sound is very present, very forward, and he's just it's way out there, but it's like it's on his body. Yeah. So it's never really getting away from him. The larynx is not coming up. It doesn't sound insecure. It just sounds connected and strong. Elvis, by the way, is another one who does it, and he does it beautifully well. He sings into his high voice. It even goes into like a covered place. He even knows how to access like his head voice, which, who knows if he was trained even to do that. He probably just did it naturally. But that man is a god. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for the comments. Yes, I will make an exercise video where I'll just run through some scales and stuff that I do. Like I said, it doesn't really matter the exercises you do. It's important you do exercises, but it's really, really important that we understand fundamentals first. So that's it for today. Hope to catch up with you after the holidays, after Thanksgiving, I mean. And like and subscribe for more. Get in touch. My email's in the description. I do give lessons, and I'm also happy to just talk shop. So thanks again, and enjoy your Thanksgiving.